thank you, Chancellor Maloney, for joining us here on Homework Hotline.
Thank you for having me.
So we want to start out, you're a chancellor, and so a lot of our viewers may not even know what a chancellor is. Can you just tell us what a chancellor does?
Yes, a chancellor is the same as the president of a college. So I oversee a medium-sized university here at UMass Lowell.
Okay, and so what was the qualifications? What did you do? What brought you to that path to become the chancellor?
I've been involved in higher education for over 30 years and came up through the ranks, started out in the faculty and had various administrative roles along the way. And it's just been great. And then over the past 8 years, I worked as a deputy chancellor, so as a number 2 person, and then was appointed as chancellor just this summer.
If there was a student who was in high school or in college and was thinking about dropping out, what kind of advice do you think that you would give them?
I would tell them to hang in there, tough it out, definitely don't give up. And I think for students who are struggling, the most important thing for them to know is that there are a lot of people out there who want to help them. There's got to be somebody that they can reach out to that they're comfortable with. Try a teacher that you know, a guidance counselor, even the principal. Students should know that everyone wants them to be successful and that they'll be there for them and help them to get through whatever it is that the challenge is that might be causing them to think about stopping out. But they should never stop out.
30 years ago, 10% of schools were ran by women, and recently over 25% of schools are run by women. Why do you think that it's important to have women in leadership roles in universities?
Well, obviously, I think it's true not just for universities, but also for business and industry. Clearly, women were half of the population. If you think about it, we really should be in half of the leadership roles. The fact that we're only 25%, that's not good enough. When you think about it, I'm the first woman chancellor at this university. This university's been around for 121 years. It took a long time to get here, probably too long, but the good news is this is another glass ceiling that's broken. I think it's important because I know when I was appointed this summer, I knew it was an important change for the university to have a woman as a chancellor, but I was amazed at how many people reached out to me. Women, mothers who talked about sharing my story with their daughters. The women students here, day after day, come up to me and say, Chancellor Maloney, we really look up to you, and you make it seem possible. You make it seem, any dream that I have, you make it seem possible. Watching you take on this lead role, it's inspiring to me. So I know that role models are very important. They were important to me, certainly, when I came up through the ranks. And so I think it's just very important that women take a leadership role.
So one of the major reasons we asked you is because you are a great role model for young women out there to be in a leadership role. So you mentioned that you had mentors and people who you really look up to. Who are some of the people that led up to you being where you are today?
Well, for me, of course, I've had just a great history of having wonderful teachers in high school, certainly in college. Many of my college faculty were my best mentors. They opened up a whole new world to me, a way of thinking. But honestly, I've always sought out mentors my whole life. I come from a family of 8 women. So wow. My sisters were certainly some of my, they were some of my best mentors and encouraged me along the way. And I think one of the most important things mentors can do is to stretch the people around them, to stretch those young people who are seeking their advice. And I think that, I take great pride in working with our students here and encouraging them to grow and to kind of move on beyond their comfort zone. So I think mentoring is really important, and it certainly was important for me, yes.
So as there's young ladies and young women who are watching the show who want to become leaders, and maybe they're told, oh, you're bossy or you're whatever, what kind of advice would you give to these kids who want to be leaders?
Well, I would tell them, follow your path, follow your passion. Don't let anybody ever make you feel less than what you are, for sure. Stand your ground, absolutely. And I think women, we're all different. It's not like women, we're all the same kind of qualities or characters. And so I've seen and met a lot of different kinds of women who are leaders. But I would tell every young person, and I tell kids today, just follow your passion. For me, it's always about putting the work in front of you, and for me, that means putting students in front of me all the time, and then let that lead you into what the world that you're meant to lead. And don't be afraid to take on leadership positions. You know, I had a conversation just a couple of years ago. I meet with the student government leaders very often. And I noticed in a lunch that we were having, of course, it was the guys in the room who were raising their hand, participating, expressing themselves. The women weren't. You know, it was kind of surprising to me that that's still an issue for young women, that they do seem to be challenged to speak up and take the rightful place in a conversation. And they knew as much as those guys knew, but they just didn't have the confidence or the wherewithal to speak their mind. So I took them aside and I said, you know, you really need to think about having an equal voice at this table. Did you think of some of those ideas? I bet you had some of those ideas before the guys even said, oh, yes, we did. Why didn't you speak? Okay, we'll try next. And I said, and by the way, we don't have a female president or vice president in our student government. Why aren't one of you running for the top role? And again, same thing. These women were very talented, very smart, so they needed some encouragement. They ran the following year, and I'll tell you, we had two women as president and vice president, and one of them has gone on to be our student trustee. So, I mean, two things. I think women have to really be mindful and intentional. If you want something, push yourself a little bit, experiment, you know, try different arenas to apply your leadership. And I think especially in junior high school or high school, there are a lot of opportunities, right, to get involved in clubs and organizations. And when you do, don't sit back. If you really think you want to be a leader, put yourself out there as the leader.
Oh my God, great advice. I mean, I think of how many of our students don't want to raise their hand. I mean, it starts as simple as just raising your hand and having your voice be heard.
It does. Yeah.
So it's kind of switching gears a little bit. You're a college chancellor. Many of our students want to go to college. What are colleges looking for these days? What should our students be doing to guarantee that they're going to get into the college of their dreams?
Well, I think some of the advice that I just pointed out, certainly you have to work hard. You have to excel academically, apply yourself. For us, we're looking for students who are really committed to their education. So we look for that in their college application. We want to see students who are going to be engaged. That's very important to us as a university. We tell our students when they come to UMass Lowell, we want you to graduate having made a difference in an innovative and entrepreneurial way. So we're looking for evidence that students get engaged in high school, that they're interested in doing so when they come here, that they want to make a difference in the world. So I think students have a lot of opportunity when they're in high school to show that, to show their determination. And I think that if they do that, they'll be very successful getting into college.
Great. You know, so one word that you mentioned that we've been talking a lot about on this TV show is entrepreneurial. So our kids hear that all the time. And I don't know, I just want to know what your definition of what that means to you.
Well, it's funny, we just had a pitch contest the other night. So we have about 6,000 of our students go through entrepreneurial training every year, because I think it's going to be the future for America. Everyone's talking about it. And I tell our students, whether they're nurses, want to be teachers, psychologists, CJ majors, environmentalists, engineers, scientists, everyone has to think creatively. You have to be able to look at a problem, think outside the box, and find a solution that will help, you know, address a real world problem. That's what entrepreneurs do. And so we teach our students how to look at a problem, how to come up with a creative idea, how to test the idea, how to develop a business plan around it, how to pitch an idea. And so our students get very good at standing up in front of people, pitching their idea. We have a whole difference maker challenge where they compete for money. And the top cash prize, $5,000 for you to build your ideas. So we really want our students to become more entrepreneurial. And in fact, our top winning students 3 years ago, they are our first business startup in our incubator.
Wow.
We're really encouraging that entrepreneurship, and that's going to help them no matter where they are. As a teacher, you know yourself, you have to be very entrepreneurial, right? You have to come up with ways to resource what you want to do in the classroom. So no matter where you are, it's going to be really good for you if you know how to think that way and how to overcome a challenge.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Maloney. You've been really inspirational to myself and to our viewers. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for what you do as a teacher. You're very important to all of us.
Okay.